Hare Krishna. Welcome to the Srimad Bhagavatam class. Today is Tuesday, 7th June 2016. So we'll first start with our prayers. So please chant after me. These are the prayers before we recite Bhagavatam or we hear Bhagavatam. So you can all repeat after me. Narayanam namaskritya
Narayanam namaskritya
Naram chaiva narottamam
Naram chaiva narottamam
Devim saraswatim vyasam
Vyasam
Tato jayamudirayet
Tato jayamudirayet
Nashtaprayeshu bhadreshu
Nashtaprayeshu bhadreshu
Nityam bhagavata sevaya
Nityam bhagavata sevaya
Bhagavate uttama shloke
Bhagavati
uttama shloke
Bhaktir bhavati naistiki
bhavati naistiki
Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya
Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya
Om Namo
Vasudevaya
Vasudevaya
Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya
Om
Bhagavate Vasudevaya
Vasudevaya.
So now I'm stopping sharing
Okay.
and I'll be speaking. You could kindly mute all your mics. Mute all your mics. This is somebody's echo. You have to control your echo, because that's why I said just mute your mics. It will be very easy. Okay. I hope everybody can see me.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Yeah. So, welcome to this wonderful journey, spiritual journey. Srimad Bhagavatam is one of the classics, and for devotees of Krishna especially, this is the one scripture which tells us everything about Krishna. This is one of the 18 Puranas, and this is one of the main Puranas, The 18 Puranas that we have, they are divided into three categories. Those which are in the mode of goodness, those which are in the mode of passion, and those which are mode of ignorance. It's for everybody, the Puranas are for everybody. So they have categorized them so that different people of different modes of nature, everybody can enjoy. And so Srimad Bhagavatam is one of the 6 Puranas which are in the mode of goodness. And this is, of course, ultimately the ripened fruit of Vedic scripture, as it is called. Srila Vyasadeva compiled this at the end of his maturity. Like when he was totally mature, he has already written, compiled. He never wrote anything. He compiled 4 Vedas and 17 Puranas. But he still was not satisfied. So he asked his spiritual master, Shripad Narada, why is it that I am not still satisfied? And Narada Muni very nicely explained to him that it's all because you have spoken about everything else except the glories of the Lord. You are not glorified the Supreme Personality of God, Shri Krishna, enough. So in that maturity, when having gone through everything, he just compiled this. And this has 18,000 shlokas. It's supposed to be in size-wise, it is not the biggest because there are others having more than 100,000 and so on. But in terms of essence of bhakti, essence of devotional service, essence of knowing Krishna, the basic difference between, people ask this question many times, what is the difference between Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam? These are the two main books we refer to. So the basic difference is that Bhagavad Gita is spoken by Krishna himself as a dialogue with Arjuna, whereas Bhagavad Gita is about Krishna. All his avatars, all his expansions, all his wonderful devotees at till this present time. Meaning this was compiled thousands of years back. So till that time, all the historical facts have been compiled. The Vedic scriptures as such, like Vedas and Upanishad, Akhyana, Darshana, and so on, they all come under Shruti. Shruti means heard, The spiritual master speaks and the students hear. And that's how they get the knowledge about all the, and as I said, Vedas, Upanishads, etc. Whereas Puranas are the supplementaries to the Vedas. To understand the principle of Vedic injunctions, these are all testimonials, in a way. We go to the market to buy something and then we look for testimonials. Who has used it? What happened to the person? Etc. So like that, these Puranas are come under Smritis. Very interestingly, the sages, hundreds and thousands of them, among them the main sages, they were all spread over Himalayas and different places, solitary places. And then all these Smritis, all that has happened was already spoken by somebody, and the whole thing is in the Akasha, And from there, through the sound vibration, these saints, some places their number is also given. But we cannot say that's very authentic number. So we don't mention those numbers, but it's a big number. And then they hear that and then remember that, that Smriti, that's in their remembrance. And then from that, Srila Vyasadeva extracts and he compiles. So this is just to give a little idea about the Vedic literature. It's a very vast, there's so many branches and sub-branches. Even in Purana, there are 18 Puranas, and then there are Upa-Puranas, and then there are Akhyanas. Each Purana has this, like there are so many katha we hear from our childhood, but they come under Akhyana, because we never see them in any of the Puranas, but then they are in the, for example, Advent of Lord Venkateshwara. It's in one of the Upa Puranas and Akhyanas of Padma Purana. That's where those stories are there. So, like that, this Vedic literature tells us about how to lead our life and what should be our goal and how to achieve the highest. Ultimately, the goal is to take you to the highest level of your self-realization. Atma Nivedana, people have different names. And then what is the difference between other literatures and the Vedic literature? The biggest difference is that all these Vedic Vedas and Puranas and everything, they are apaurushaya. Paurushaya means compiled by a human being. Apaurushaya means spoken and compiled by not ordinary human beings. They're all expansions, different avatars. Of course, in avatara also there are categories. So for example, Srila Vyasadeva comes under Shaktya Vesha Avatara. Shaktya Vash means some Shakti, some power has been invested in him, and by that power he could compile. On his own he cannot do it. How does he know what Krishna told Brahma? How does he know other things? So he has been invested with this power to accomplish this. And that is why, because this is apaurushaya, there are no changes. For us, it's just like final verdict. People have already done research, but we need not do any more research. We have to take it as it is. Just to give a little idea about this acquiring knowledge. There are 3 ways of acquiring knowledge. And they say it is Pratyaksha Pramana, Anumana Pramana, and Shabda Pramana. Pratyaksha means direct perception. Unless you hear directly or you see directly, you do not accept. The typical modern science we call like that. Pratyaksha Pramana. We want proof for everything. But then, because of problems, nothing is perfect. Otherwise, like recently, just to cite an example, even Einstein's theory is now being challenged because Paurushaya, there will be some problem. And somebody finds that defect and then he starts working on that. And then he gets his PhD, etc. And like that, it happens. And because of the reason that our senses are not perfect, we have these 4 problems, Senses are not perfect. We are in illusion. We make mistakes. So nothing can be perfect. That's why, even Indian constitution you take or anything you take, there is so many amendments, but there is no amendment to Bhagavad Gita. There is no amendment to Rig Veda, Samaveda. It's just there. The meaning, people come out with different meanings, but nobody changes. In Bhagavad Gita, for example, it's 5,000 years plus. Not a single word has been changed by anybody. No full stop, no comma. And then, of course, commentaries are there, and then people interpret it in a different way according to their situation, their position. So this is, I just wanted to give a little brief on Bhagavatam. And this is, in Bhagavatam again, very interestingly, when initially in our ISKCON, Bhagavatam came out. Actually, Prabhupada went to America. He came to America bringing just 3 volumes. First canto, 3 volumes of Bhagavatam. He had only that much, And then from there he came out with, he just translated word by word translation. We'll see that now. Word by word translation, full translation, and then his purports, Tatparya. For the entire Hare Krishna. Entire Bhagavatam. Of course, he could not complete, but still he completed almost 80%. More than 80%. So each you can imagine, there are 18,000, so 80% of 18,000. That's a lot. And then in the beginning, when the devotees started reading this, they wanted to distribute this to, all the libraries, etc. So I remember way back, almost 35 years back, they brought out with a big poster. I'm sure it's still available somewhere, which says, what do you like to read? Tragedy, comedy, warfare, romance, just name it. Social problems, family, guru, anything and everything you can find in one single book, Srimad Bhagavatam. That's how they used to advertise, and that's true. I mean, we have been doing this. I've been doing this for last many years. Now, for the first time, we are again starting a new chapter here, and change the format a little. It's not going to be shloka by shloka, but it will be chapter by chapter or like that, depending on the subject matter. So, as I said, it has everything. And just like any Hollywood or Bollywood movie, then the movie you see, they show something and then they want to show the past. So what they call is flashback. It goes into flashback, and then you see the color picture becomes gray and thing like that. The hero is now old, but then they show. So similarly in Bhagavatam, especially in the first two cantos, there's so much of this going on. Shukadeva Goswami talking to Parikshit Maharaj, Sutta Goswami talking to all the assembled sages through Shaunaka Rishi, and then in between, Vidura is talking to Maitreya Rishi, and so on and so forth. There's so many things going on. Then they're talking, they talk of what happened in different times. So it's sometimes in the beginning, I remember, many of us felt that, oh, what is happening? So who actually spoke Bhagavatam? Because, everybody is saying Bhagavatam, and then he's mentioning what others did. Like when Sutta Goswami is talking, he's talking about Parikshit Maharaj and Shukadeva Goswami, And then Shukadeva Goswami is saying, oh, I heard it from my father, Vyasadeva. And Vyasadeva is heard from Narada, and Narada, it's like that, it's different things going on. So if you stick to, if you continue to read and understand, then you will enjoy, you will really see, yes, it's worth it. There's been break, actually last, when we were doing it shloka by shloka, we had come to third canto and some 13th or 14th chapter. And a small bunch of devotees who were with me, we all used to look forward every day. And I hope and wish that you will also start liking it slowly. It just gets into you slowly. Bhagavatam is like that. First you get overwhelmed. What is this going on? The Sanskrit shlokas, oh my God, can't even pronounce. But then as we get into it, as we get the purport, and that's why reading on our own, like I remember first time I read, I decided, okay, let me read it first, at least 18,000 doesn't matter, at least I will read just the translations, because I'm not good at Sanskrit. So, and then who will do this word by word translation? So just read the translation, at least get what is the gist of it. But then having read that, we understand that we are not understood anything. Maybe we understood a little. But then when we get the purports of His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, our founder Acharya, then we realize after reading those that yes, I never understood it like this. I thought, wow, this is nice explanation. So Srila Prabhupada used to call these as his personal realizations. He says all my realizations, and he just puts it on paper. Through earlier he used to write manuscript, and then when he came to US, the devotees provided him a dictaphone. But it's again, not what we are using now. Now it's all high tech. But the point is that if we really want to understand who is Krishna, how really how he is glorifiable. Why should we glorify Krishna? And when you go through the Bhagavatam and how the devatas, the devis, the netizens of different planetary systems, how they glorify him, how they are seeking his darshan, how they are seeking his association. That's what makes this really, really wonderful. So let me I'm just taking, look at some of the notes so that we all understand the importance of Bhagavatam. So in the introduction of this Srimad Bhagavatam, first of all, Srila Prabhupada emphasizes on the fact that God and absolute truth are non-different. Conceptions are different, but ultimately they are the same. Absolute truth cannot be anything other than the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Of course, there are others are there, and then they maybe we see and read other theories and other followers, and they have their own things. But ultimately, when you go into the depth of it, you will find that there cannot be any difference on the God's features. The basic difference that we face, especially if you are from India, is that Saguna, Nirguna, right? Swarupa and Nirakara. Whether the God has a form or God has no form. He has qualities or he has no qualities. What's the difference? Like those things we get stuck. But ultimately, we see in our real life, we'll see the presence of God's hand in so many things, so many things. The moment we get up and we say outside the window, and if you really go into starting analyzing that, what you are seeing, how it has come into existence, who can be behind this? Is it only a force? And then, if you say it's some Shakti, some power or something, then Srila Prabhupada says, the Shakti also belongs to Shaktiman, right? There's a power and there's a powerful. Power comes from the powerful. On its own, it cannot exist. So, it ultimately boils down to a person. That's why we say, Shri Krishna, Supreme Personality of Godhead. This was coined by Srila Prabhupada. It's such a wonderful thing to say, because that explains everything. The God has also got impersonal features, but he is not impersonal. That's what the whole purport of Bhagavatam is. When we are talking of so many leelas, stories, kathas, historical facts about Krishna and his devotees, that cannot be taken as something happening in vacuum. There's no person or something. No. And that is why that is the first thing to be established. The most wonderful thing about our Vedic literature and the other literatures, the difference between the two. In many religions, if you see, they do not have a choice to accept something other than what they are saying. Like they will say, okay, this is it, you follow this, or else you are not in this, we don't accept you in this religion, like that. Like, for example, I don't want to mention any names, but somebody says, okay, if you are not following us, then you are a kafir. That means I have the right to kill you, I can do anything to you, etc. Right? Our Vedic literature starts, the very first thing that starts is Athato Brahma Jigyasa. Let there be inquiry. We don't stop that. We don't stop inquiry, because unless you inquire and then get the answer, and then then only you can think of getting into it, right? My guru, material guru, even he used to say, do not accept anything unless you are convinced. Hare Krishna. Some devotees are joined just now. Please, I request you to please mute your mics. Thank you very much. So that is the first thing. So when, these very words we have always heard about Brahman, Ishvara, Parameshvara, they all have their place. They all have their place. There is nothing which can be taken as conclusive. The only conclusion we get is ultimately the synthesis of all what we have. And that's what exactly Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did, You can imagine in the battle of Dvaita versus Advaita, everybody claiming and almost trying to kill each other and so on, and trying to say that I am superior than you and so on and so forth. He synthesized. He says nothing is wrong, but nothing is complete truth. And that's why what we follow, which again I am not saying because we follow it is perfect, but because it has come from the Supreme Personality, our Paurusheya. He says that he gave us achintya bheda abheda tattva. Achintya, inconceivable, can't even think of how this happens. Bheda abheda. There is a difference. Bheda means difference. Abheda means no difference. So there is difference and no difference. So what is the no difference? Quality is same. What is the difference? Quantity is not same. So that we have, I hope most of you must be reading and Bhagavad Gita and other classes and so on. So I will not go into depth of that now, because this is just an introductory class to make everybody interested in Bhagavatam. So let's read the first shloka of Srimad Bhagavatam. For example, we started by chanting Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We chanted 2 shlokas, and then we said Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So Om is of course the Omkara, which again comes from Krishna. Namo, you pay obeisances. Bhagavate means the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Vasudevaya. The name is there. It's not that some, interestingly, one time when Srila Prabhupada started ISKCON, International Society for Krishna Consciousness, some of his god brothers, friends, they all said, Swamiji, don't say Krishna consciousness. You should say God consciousness. So Prabhupada said, but I know who is God. Krishna is that God. So I will use his name. What's the problem? And then he gave a nice example. He asked that person. He says, who is your father? He says, Mr. Bhattacharya. Some Ramachandra Bhattacharya. Oh, he says, Ramachandra Bhattacharya is your father? So when somebody asks you who is your father, what do you say? Do you say, I have some father?
मैंने मेरा वीडियो ऑफ करके रखा.
Do you say there is some father? You say, Mr. Ramachandra is my father, right? So Prabhupada said, Krishna is our father. So why I should say God consciousness and confused? Already people are confused. They don't know who is God. Hare Krishna. Mute your mics, please, when you join late. So that way, others don't get disturbed. Thank you very much. So this is very important for us to understand. And though all of you who have joined us and who will be joining, this is one thing we have to understand very, very clearly. If you want to enjoy Bhagavatam, then you have to accept Krishna as the Supreme Person, as the Supreme Lord. Because otherwise, because every day we'll be talking about glorifying Krishna, and then if you don't agree or you have some problems there, of course you may have some doubts, that's okay. Doubts can be clarified. But if you have problems accepting some stigma, then you will not enjoy these classes. My point is that these are only for the devotees, who really want to know more and more and want to get the rasa, the mellow of that Krishna consciousness. But everybody is welcome. As I said, we strictly believe in Athato Brahma Jigyasa. So if any question is there, no question is too good or no question is too bad. It's your question, your doubt. So it's okay. So what we'll do is, we'll quickly chant today, because every day we'll be chanting one shloka. So I thought it's good to chant today the first shloka of the first canto and first chapter of Bhagavatam. Okay. So I'm going to share that with you so that everybody can. I hope everybody can see this on your screen. So what I will do is I will just, chant one by one line, and you please repeat after me, and then one or two of you can chant also. Janmadhyasya yatonvayad itarasta chartheshva abhigyana swarata. This is a little long one, so we'll break it into smaller ones. Janmadhyasya yatonvayad itaraschartheshva abhigyana
chartesva abhignya swarat.
Okay, swarat I should have taken. It's okay. Ene Brahma Hridaya Adikavaye.
Tene Brahma Hridaya Adikavaye.
Muyati Yatasurayaha.
Muyanti Yatasurayaha.
Tejo Vari Mridam Yatha.
Tejo Vari Mridam Yata.
Vinimayo Yatrati Sargot Mrisha.
Vinimayo Yatrati Sargo Mrisha.
Dhamna Svena Sada Nirasta.
Dhamna Svena Sada Nirasta.
Kokam Satyam Param Dhimahi.
Kokam Satyam Param Dhimahi.
Karthik Prabhu, you can chant.
Janmadyasya yatonvayad.
Janmadyasya yatonvayad.
Itaratas chartesva abhignya swarat.
Chartesva abhigyan swarat.
Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi.
Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi.
Kavaye mukhyanti yad Surayah
ते मुह्यन्ति यत सूरयः
Tejovari mridam yata
तेजो वारिमृदां यथा
Vinimayo yatra trisargo mrisa
विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा
Damna svena sada nirasta
धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्ता
Kuhakam satyam param dhimahi.
कुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि. Thank you, Prabhu. So we will see the word by word meaning because this looks tough for us, right? But as we see word by word meaning, then it makes some sense to us. I expect everybody to please repeat after me so that you become participative. Om,
Om
O my Lord,
O my Lord,
Namaha,
Namaha.
offering my obeisances,
offering my obeisances
Bhagavate,
Bhagavate
unto the personality of Godhead,
unto the personality of Godhead,
Vasudevaya,
Vasudevaya,
unto Vasudeva,
unto Vasudeva,
the son of Vasudeva,
the son of Vasudeva,
or Lord Shri Krishna,
or Lord Shri Krishna,
the primeval Lord.
the primeval Lord,
Janma Adi,
Janma Adi,
creation, sustenance and destruction.
creation, sustenance and destruction.
Asya,
Asya,
of the manifested universes.
of the manifested universes.
Yataha,
Taha,
from whom.
from whom.
Anvayat,
Anvaya.
Anvayat,
directly.
directly.
Itarataha,
Itrataha.
Itarataha,
indirectly.
indirectly.
Cha,
Cha,
and.
and
Artheshu,
Teshu,
purposes.
purposes.
Abhigyanaha,
Ajna,
fully cognizant.
fully cognizant.
Swarat,
Swarat,
fully independent.
fully independent.
Tene,
Ene,
imparted.
imparted.
Brahma,
Brahma,
the Vedic knowledge.
Vedic knowledge.
Hrida,
Hriday,
consciousness of the heart.
consciousness of the heart.
Yah,
Yaha,
one who.
one who.
Adi Kavaye,
Adi Kavaye,
unto the original created being.
unto the original created being.
Muhyanti,
Muhayanti,
are illusion.
or illusion.
Yat,
Yat,
about whom.
about whom.
Surayah,
Surayah,
great sages and devatas.
great sages and devatas.
Tejah,
Tejaha,
fire.
fire.
Vari,
Vari,
water.
water.
Mrudam,
Radam,
earth.
earth.
Yatha,
Yatha,
as much as.
much as.
Vinimayah,
Vinimayaha,
action and reaction.
action and reaction.
Yatra,
Yatra,
whereupon.
whereupon.
Three sargaha,
Three sargaha,
three modes of creation, creative faculties.
three modes of creation, creative faculties.
Amrasha,
Amrisha,
almost factual.
almost factual.
Dhamna,
Dhamna,
along with all transcendental paraphernalia.
along with all transcendental paraphernalia.
Svena,
Svena,
self-sufficiently.
self-sufficiently.
Sada,
Sada,
always.
always.
Nirasta,
Nirasta,
negation by absence.
negation by absence.
Kuhakam,
Kuhakam,
illusion.
illusion.
Satyam,
Satyam,
truth.
truth.
Param,
Param,
absolute.
absolute.
Dhimahi,
Dhimahi,
I do meditate upon.
I do meditate upon.
So now I request one of Matajis to please read the translation. Anybody?
Sri Krishna, son of Vasudeva, O all-pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. I meditate upon Lord Sri Krishna because he is the absolute truth. Destruction of the manifested and the primeval cause of all causes of the creation, sustenance, and destruction of the manifested universe. He is directly and indirectly conscious of all manifestations, and he is independent because there is no other cause beyond him. It is he only who first imparted the Vedic knowledge unto the heart of Brahmaji, the original living being. By him, even the great sages and demigods are placed into illusion. As one is bewildered by the illusory representations of water seen in fire or land seen on water, only because of him do the material universes temporarily manifested by reactions of the three modes of nature appear factual, although they are unreal. I therefore meditate upon him, Lord Sri Krishna, who is eternally existent in the transcendental abode, which is forever free from the illusory representations of the material world. I meditate upon him, for he is the absolute truth.
Thank you, Mother. So actually, don't get overwhelmed by this. This is one of the longest translation of a shloka, and I have not even gone into the purport. The purport is about 3 pages, because this is the beginning, and in the very beginning, Srila Vyasadeva wants to establish Krishna as the Supreme Personality of God, as I said, So he is already glorifying him by giving his qualities. And finally he says, Satyam Paramam Dhimahi. That's the ultimate. Satyam is truth, Paramam, absolute, the highest truth. So, as I said in the beginning, if we have any doubts about these, then it's going to be very, very tough for us to accept things. But I'm sure all of you are wonderful devotees, and you are trying to increase your devotion. You're trying to progress in your Krishna consciousness. That's why you are joining this class. So I'm very, very sure about your goal and your, again, I'm also sure about your progress, because whoever reads Bhagavatam, there are no doubts about that. So, being the first day, I have spoken a little longer than I should have, but I hope you will bear with me, because I wanted to introduce Bhagavatam to you. And now we can take up some few questions if you have some doubts, or you want to know how it's going to go. Our system will be like this only, every day we'll read one shloka, with the meaning and everything. And then I will try to narrate that particular chapter based on the commentary and everything, I'll make some notes and then I'll share with you. And then maybe, if anybody of you wants to also speak and you are ready for that, then we can have it. It's not that only you have to listen to me only. As I said, this is a journey together. We are all in the same boat. Okay. So thank you very much. Now, if you have any questions, comments, please go ahead.
Hello, Prabhuji.
Yes, Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I have this book actually, the Canto 1 part, and I was like reading the introduction, and the introduction is about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Right.
So why do you think Srila Prabhupada has introduced Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the Bhagavatam? I was like...
Yeah, very good question. That's why I said Prabhupada, a sadhu is never afraid of speaking out his mind, right? He is not going to speak something because he wants to please you. The whole purpose of this Bhagavatam is to please Krishna, right? To glorify Krishna. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the best example of somebody who follows Bhagavatam. You know, because one is reading and then second is acting. If you see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he came as in the form of Krishna's devotee, right? And there cannot be anybody better than him to explain how a devotee glorifies the Lord, how he leads his life. Throughout his life, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was only glorifying Krishna, right? Somebody, even though he was Krishna himself, but because he has come as a devotee, he wanted to establish the bhakti, process of bhakti, the process of bhakti yoga perfectly. And that's why Srila Prabhupada thought that it will be nice if people understand how bhakti is to be followed, how it is to be enacted. And that's why he could have chosen anybody else also. And because others, why he chose Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is still not there in Bhagavatam. Okay. So I remember one time Srila Prabhupada was discussing about Bhagavatams, that how it's a historical fact. And then somebody said, so in the next time, because the Bhagavatam is compiled every millennium, every time. It's not that it's one time. Like, for example, now we are reading what happened in the previous yugas. So when the next Bhagavatam comes, then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's name will be there, Bhakti Vinod Thakur's name will be there, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur's name will be there. Maybe Prabhupada's name, if not this, the next. Srimad Bhagavatam, incidentally, is a literary incarnation of Krishna. It is just expansion of Krishna. That's why in many places they worship Bhagavatam. We also install. Have you heard about it? The devotees are installing Bhagavatam in their home and they are worshipping like, they are worshipping Krishna. So that's the reason he thought of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Does it satisfy you?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Thank you.
Reading the introduction, I have a lot of doubts, I think.
Yeah, good. See, that's why I said I made it very clear. If the doubt comes, please ask.
Yeah, I think you will clarify it because this is just the introduction, right? So
yeah. As we go along, you have to bear with me because, as I said, everything cannot be done in one day.
Exactly.
It's a huge subject matter. Yeah.
Sure, Prabhu.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Anybody else? If you don't have a question, at least you can share whether this format is okay or you have something other than that in your mind, so that we can all take advantage of that. Hare Krishna. At least everybody can introduce yourself if you don't mind.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. This is Sudeep.
Sudeep?
Naik. Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Welcome.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for your wonderful classes. We'll be in future days we'll get your association and get to hear from exalted soul. It's been.
No, everybody is insignificant only, but I will try my best to just share with you whatever I have learned, and then share I'll also learn in the process.
That's Prabhuji, your I would say, being humble. I know,
I'm true. I'm very not humble. I'm very arrogant, but I know my limitation.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thanks.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna devotees. I am Radhika Raman Das. I am a disciple of His Holiness Sridhar Swami. It was through the mercy of Subhuti Prabhu that he brought us into Krishna consciousness, and we have been enjoying his Nectarian classes and association for over now almost 2 decades. So I think that this is the best thing which has really happened to our life, is that he gave us Krishna, and Krishna you get it only through the devotees. The devotees of Krishna we get Krishna, and from Krishna's mercy we get devotees. So it is both way around. So thank you very much, Prabhuji, for bringing us into Krishna consciousness. And every day is a learning step, and we have been learning throughout from you by your causeless mercy. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
No, I'm just repeating what already a great Acharya has spoken.
I think that's the best thing which has happened to us.
Thank you, Prabhu. Anybody else?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Praveen Govinda.
Yes, Prabhuji.
A very nice class, Prabhuji. Very enlightening. And I believe the format is perfect, Prabhuji. We can have your lecture and then the question answer sessions. Format is very it's perfect, Prabhuji.
Okay.
And thank you so much for enlightening us. Hari Bol.
Thank you, Prabhuji. You should be ready for giving the class too.
No, Prabhuji, I am your servant, Prabhuji.
No. And nobody's servant. And actually, we keep saying all that. Thank you, Prabhu.
प्रभु जी ये क्लास 8 बजे से शुरू होती है, कितने बजे?
8:30 माता जी, आपका 7:30.
7:30 से. अच्छा.
हाँ जी.
मैं आज तो ये बेटी थी तो उसने ज्वाइन करवा दिया. मेरे टेलीफोन पर रिंग कर देंगे आप?
ओके.
वेरी काइंड ऑफ यू.
माता जी, मैंने टेलीफोन से ज्वाइन किया है, तो टेलीफोन का नंबर और पासकोड भी है, माता जी.
तो दे दीजिए जरा.
But you know, her problem is somebody has to give her that link through the computer only, no? So only her daughter can do that.
No, I have joined through telephone, no?
No,
so
correct.
she can dial the telephone number and that.
Yeah,
so
that
you don't need computer in that.
Generally, you know, she's been attending my classes for last 2 years. So I call her every time, you know.
Okay, Prabhuji. Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I am a dull-headed woman.
Mataji, you are an example. You know, let me introduce her. You know, she is Prema Vardhini Mataji. She is 87, Mataji, now.
I was born in 1936, January 1936.
Okay. So more than 80 years old, and she is just like a kindergarten student. You know, she just doesn't miss any class. Not only my class, anybody else's class too.
Hari Bol.
So that's that kind of enthusiasm we need.
Yes, Prabhuji.
घर पे होगी तब तो वो इससे ज्वाइन करा देगी.
हाँ माताजी. Yes, anybody else is there who wants to say something? Shweta Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you so much for coming online. Really, the format is very nice and it's very, very, very enlightening. As the other person said, I totally agree with them. And thank you so much for investing all your knowledge and time for us.
Oh, everything is for my purification. I you know, as I said, you know, I'm doing it everything for myself. I'm very selfish.
Whatever it is, we are getting a benefit out of it, and thank you so much. I can't thank you enough.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, anybody else? Pavitra Gaurav Prabhu.
This is Braj Bihari Das.
Hari Bol Prabhuji.
Yeah, Prabhuji, this class is wonderful. Initially, you started class as 10 o'clock, but somehow I am not able to join because of officers. But then
I know. This was suggestion from devotees.
Okay, that's wonderful. So I'll try to join every day.
Thank you, Prabhu.
ये class
Thank you so much for such a nice class.
Hare Krishna.
Identify yourself, Mataji. I didn't hear your name.
Devidasi.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
ये डेली होगी ये क्लास?
Monday to Thursday, but abhi, after tomorrow it will not be there for 8 days because there is a Bhagavatam Saptah here in Charlotte. So tomorrow will be one day and then we'll start from next week, like not next week, maybe because 8 days that class goes on when Prabhuji is coming here. I'll try to connect through connect if possible, and then I'll give you that link so you can all join that class also.
Otherwise, it will be from Monday to Thursday.
Haan, Monday to Thursday. Because Friday we have Bhakti Vrikshas in Charlotte, and everybody will be busy in that. Okay. Anybody else?
Hare
Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Dandat Pranam.
Yeah, Hari Bol.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for a nice class. We're looking forward to hear more and more.
Thank you.
Hari Bol, this is Keshri.
Hari Bol, Keshri. Did you hear?
Yes, she heard some.
Okay.
Hare Krishna, this is Karthik from Chicago.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
So thank you for hosting the Bhagavatam class, Prabhu. So it's really amazing. So looking forward to learn from you more. Thank you.
I'll try my best.
Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Mahesh Prabhu is there, right?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
It is wonderful class, Prabhuji. I mean, it's good that it's in the evening so that we could join after office hours. Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for your class.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay then. Thank you very much. And as I said, it will not be so long every day. But first day I thought I wanted to hear from you. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.